This is Taco Cabana Thursday Night Live, presented by Thomas J. Henry.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Gustafson Stadium on San Antonio's north side for another big night of Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights. Tonight, it's the Harlan Hawks taking on the Holmes Huskies in a big 29-6A matchup. I'm Don Harris, along with my broadcast partner, Chuck McAtinnick, down on the sidelines. He'll join me here in the booth in just a second. But Chuck, this is a Holmes team going against a Harlan team that is right in the thick of a very crowded district playoff race.
Well, for Harlan, Don, they appear to be hitting their stride right at the right point in the season. They're finally healthy, and it couldn't come at a better time because, as you mentioned, I mean, they are fighting to get into the playoffs. They've got a couple of teams breathing down their necks, but, man, these guys are super talented, and we're going to see a lot of offense from them tonight. And then for Holmes, you know you're going to get some fight out of these Huskies each and every night. They've gotten better each and every week. Ask the Madison Mavericks, ask the J Mustangs. Holmes is going to be in for a tussle tonight, but they're welcome and they're up for the challenge.
Yep, Holmes is always tough, coached by Juan Morales. They will fight you to the finish. Meanwhile, for the Harlan Hawks, as you saw, there are 5 teams battling for about 3 spots. Brennan about the only team that's pretty much guaranteed a spot. But tonight, we're going to see one of the best receivers in all of San Antonio in Dre Spriggs.
6'2", completely looks the part. Don, you'll love this guy because he's a tremendous basketball player as well. But this young man has 15 offers to play on the grid next season. Just a phenomenal athlete. I mean, they've got triplets at Harlan. Their quarterback's phenomenal. Their district-leading, city-leading running back is back. These guys are going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Harlan really putting it together. Meanwhile, they'll be taking on a Holmes squad that is led by their quarterback, Christopher Medeles.
Yeah, Medeles, a 3-year starter, one of the rocks of this team. He's a very explosive runner and has a great arm. And talk about the ultimate compliment. Eddie Salas, the Harlan coach, says, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in our league. So this young man's going to be fun to watch tonight as well. True leader on this squad.
All right, it is Harlan, it is Holmes, it is Thursday Night Lights. And when we come back, we'll have our Thomas J. Henry keys to the game. Settle in for some football. We're going to have a good one for you tonight here on the CW35. Welcome back to Gustafson Stadium, Thursday Night Lights. Harlan and Holmes right now. It's time for our Thomas J. Henry keys to the game. And Chuck, let's start tonight with Harlan and their head coach, Eddie Salas.
All right, Don, we're going to do this a little bit out of order because there have been a couple of things that have plagued Harlan all year, and that's the penalties and not starting quick. So that's what they want to do tonight. Start quick and be as smooth as they can on offense without the penalties. And then Eddie Salas's mantra, do your 111. You got 11 players on the field. Just do your job and everything else will take care of itself.
Here's Coach Salas.
These seniors were freshmen when we got here, and so, you know, 3 of them with Aubrey McDade, our running back, Cannon Williams, our quarterback, and Jaden Jackson, one of our defensive linemen. Those are 3 kids that even as freshmen were starting for our JV team, which was our main team, and then have started in all the rest of the 3 varsities. So, you know, it's pretty cool to see them grow up and be the kids that they are, and I'm excited for the future.
The Holmes Huskies trying to play spoiler tonight. Chuck, what are the keys for Coach Juan Morales?
Well, they're going to have to be really good on defense because Harlan is so explosive on offense. Secondly, they don't want to step on their own toes, and that kind of goes with number 3, the special teams improvement, because, you know, Holmes has gotten better each and every week. They won a ball game. They went toe-to-toe with Madison, and then they had a special teams breakdown last week. So they can clean up some of that stuff. They might be in this ball game tonight.
Their coach, Juan Morales, one of the best in town. He always gets the most out of his guys. Here he is.
Last week, it was a tough game against Marshall. I think, again, the Huskies never stopped fighting. And the thing about last week was we faulted a little bit on our special team. So, again, being able to play the complete game and these guys understanding that, and then, of course, just bouncing back and getting ready. We had a great off week, and now we're ready to get after the Harlan Hawks. So it's going to be fun.
All right, let's get after it then. Holmes taking on Harlan. When we come back, we'll have our national anthem, and we'll kick it off from Gustafson Stadium on another great night of Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights. We're back, and so are the Harlan Hawks. They've come onto the field. We're ready for our national anthem, so let's turn it over to our public address announcer, the best in the business, Lou Calusa.
Marching to midfield is the color guard of the Texas 781st Air Force Regiment ROTC from Holmes to Business Careers High School. Commanding and carrying the American flag, Cadet Captain Victoria Moore. Carrying the Texas flag, Cadet Chief Master Sergeant Arthur D. Real. The American Guard, Cadet Major Eric Melton. Texas Guard, Cadet First Lieutenant Karina Lopez. This time we ask you to please rise and remove your hats to honor America and the men and women who have served and are currently serving in our armed forces throughout our country and the world. Our national anthem this night will be played by the Holmes Husky High School Marching Band under the direction of Daniel Lugo.
And we are ready to kick it off between Eddie Salas's Harlan Hawks and the Holmes Huskies here at Gustafson Stadium tonight. There you see the records. Harlan, as you said, 3-2 in this 29 6A battle with a lot of teams crowded trying to make the playoffs. Let's go down to Zach Hedrick on the sidelines for more. Zach?
Hey, Don. Pretty great night again for football and a great uniform matchup. I know we'll get more on that in the fourth quarter later, but kind of a quasi Green Bay Packers Dallas Cowboys matchup tonight, at least uniforms-wise. Now, looking at the teams, Harlan Hawks are coming off a pretty good defensive performance. They had 8 sacks. They got after the quarterback last week. They're looking to continue that hot streak. And then you guys mentioned it, the Huskies will be paying a lot of attention to Dre Spriggs tonight, but they're going to have their hands full too with the rest of this Harlan Hawks receiving core. A lot of length, a lot of range for these guys, so it'll be a good defensive matchup for them tonight. Back up to you.
Thanks, Zach. It's time for our R&L Certified Auto Group first half kickoff. Francisco Escobar, big number 72, will do the honors for the Holmes Huskies. And receiving the kick tonight, we'll have Michael Bell, we'll have RJ De La Garza, and Umari Massey. All will split time there, back there for the Hawks. See Cannon Williams in that Harlan offense first tonight, as Escobar will put his foot into this one, and we will be underway, but not quite yet. Escobar thought, hey man, I'm waiting for you on you guys, and he's like, no, we're waiting on you. That's a delay of game.
Yeah, let's hope that's not shades of foreboding there.
Holmes was ready to go, and Escobar was like, I'm waiting for your signal.
Bet he's ready now.
He's ready now. That'll buy the Hawks 5 more yards. It's a high short kick, taken at the 35 and breaking it across the 50 and down the sideline is the Harlan Hawks. And that's a return by Richard De La Garza. Goes by RJ right down the sidelines, and now we will see Cannon Williams and his cannon of an arm. And again, the man to look out for, Dre Spriggs, number 3, one of the wide receivers. And we'll talk more about it tonight, but they get A.J. McDade back at running back tonight, who was an outstanding player a year ago. He was the offensive MVP in this district. He's wearing number 2, and he's back there with Cannon Williams on first down. It's a man with contracting first down, and McDade gets the carry first, bounces it. Nice open field tackle there by Holmes. He picks up a couple as we take a look at the starting lineup, Taco Cabana starting lineup. They are led by a number of all-district players, including the left side of that offensive line, Marcos Cifuentes and Vinny Chisholm, both all-district performers. And again, talented all-district skill guys all over the field, wide receivers and running backs. Not to mention the quarterback, who has a handful of Division I offers. Here is McDade again. He gets to the 30, 25. Gang tackled there by the Huskies. And speaking of that Holmes defense, they're led up front by Rufus Toe. You got to love that name, big number 47. He's a captain, a 2-year starter. He's their bell cow up on the front. And Juan Trejo leads the linebacking core. And Christian Malley, the free safety, number 31, leads them with interceptions as they hand it again to McDade. And Chuck, he's a guy that's missed almost the entire season after dislocating his ankle in a scrimmage, but he's a 2,000-yard back from a year ago.
And a 1,000-yard rusher the year before that. So you are looking at one of the most electric and dynamic players in this entire area, and really, really glad to see that he's back healthy, and this is going to be the first time that Harlan really unleashes him all season.
Williams has 3 to the left, throws that way over the middle, and it's picked off. That one just got away from him, and the Holmes Huskies come up with a big defensive play. Oski for the Huskies by Xavier Martinez.
Yeah, just playing a little center field. Holmes bringing the heat early, putting some pressure on Williams, and nice play by Xavier Martinez, the senior linebacker, reading it all the way and getting his offense onto the field. Big play early here for Holmes.
They need those kind of plays tonight if they're going to play spoiler. He's fired up about it. So it's 1st and 10 for the Huskies. They turn in hand right up the middle on first down. Christopher Medelas, we focused him on our pregame show. He's their leader. Returning quarterback, Nick Venegas, is the man who gets most of the load at running back. He's got 81 carries on the season. We'll also see a lot of Matthew Santillan.
They go by committee at running back, so we'll see who gets the early load here.
2nd and 7. Ball is incomplete. They say it was trapped as we take a look at the starting lineup for the Holmes Husky. Kevin Godinez, big number 78, is playing in our San Antonio All-Star game. He's an all-district performer from a year ago. They have quite a few returning starters, but also it's a young squad. They like Isaiah Jones, the sophomore wide receiver. And as you said, Chuck, they have a number of guys, including Steven Agueros and Matthew Santillan, to go along with Venegas carrying the football. 3rd down and 7 for Medeles. He goes down the sidelines and it's incomplete. It's intended for that sophomore Isaiah Jones. And so that'll set up 4th down, and Harlan will get the football back.
Great coverage by Steven Tugman from the Harlan Hawks, stride for stride with the wide receiver, and doing a really good job there. Really not a whole lot of places to go with that football for the Holmes Huskies on 3rd down.
So RJ De La Garza will be back to field the punt. Julius Ramirez will be the punter. And Holmes still trying to get guys out on the field with 4 ticks left on the play clock. And they're going to have a hard time getting this one off, and they do not. As they had a little bit of a personnel issue, guys not knowing. Oh, there is no flag. They called timeout before the flag. We'll take it with them. Holmes took a timeout, so save the yardage. When we come back, they'll be punting it away to the Harlan Hawks.
Closed captioning for today's game is sponsored by Texas Water Advisor.
So the Huskies all set now to punt it away. Julius Ramirez will do the honors. RJ De La Garza back for Harlan. He gets it off. It's a good kick. And it's muffed at the 45. Ball still loose, and it does look like Harlan got back up on top of it, but De La Garza had a hard time finding it in the air. But lucky for him, Xavier Walton was there to dive on it. And Harlan will have it for the 2nd time tonight as we take a look at our Air Today game time weather. And it's another beautiful night for football. 69 degrees, just 4-mile-an-hour winds. Perfect night for some high school football. And I say we start a month late every year. We were not, never did we burn up this year. As Williams throws it out into the flat to McDade. That ball's out. A fumbled football. Harlan turns it over again.
How about that? 2 successive possessions for Harlan, and it's the Holmes defense making a huge play.
Ethan Turner fell on it after a big-time hit, and it looked like Rufus Toe may have stripped it.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys in on that play for sure for Holmes, but that's what you got to do, having some guys swarm to the football.
So all of a sudden, Holmes has it back on their own 45. Inside handoff to Venegas. He picks up about 3. Rufus Toe, who came in with that 2nd hit. We told you he was their bell cow up there. Big defensive lineman, 6'2", 195, 2-year starter in football. Does Bible studies at his church. All around great player, great kid, and comes up with a big-time play for the Huskies.
Yeah, family immigrated here when he was in 7th grade from Africa, and just a great all-around talent.
Inside handoff. Again, it's Venegas, and he's nearing the marker, and they're going to move it for a Mammoth Contracting 1st down.
Great job inside by Joshua Davis, the senior center, and Kevin Godinez, over there at the right guard position, making a little hole there.
Let's see how big Godinez is just from here. He pulls, leads the way for Venegas, but he is swarmed by a whole flock of Hawks there to bring him down after maybe a gain of 1. And first man there was Nathan Johnson.
Diallo in on that as well. Some big, active athletes along that Harlan defensive front. Sure, we're going to be calling a lot of these names tonight as the game goes on.
2nd down and 9. Medella's quarterback call all the way. Linebacking core comes up quickly to make the tackle, and that's Nathan Johnson again for Harlan.
Boy, talk about shooting the gap. Nathan Johnson saw that all the way. And speed to burn, good size as well. Come in there and make a big play there on 2nd down and put Holmes in a tough 3rd and long situation.
3rd down and 8 for the Huskies. 2 big defensive plays have put them in position to go up first in this ball game, and Christopher Medelas, the junior quarterback, will call the signals here on 3rd down and 8. Drops straight back. Now he's kind of scrambling for his life. He's got nowhere to go, and he just kind of ducks out of bounds. And at least Holmes will flip the field here, as it looks like they will punt it away. Have a good chance to really back Harlan up if they can get off another good kick. Julius Ramirez did get off a nice one on his last attempt.
Well, James Martinez and Logan Pivarolo were the corners on that play, and they had the Holmes receivers really bottled up, nowhere to go with the ball.
4th and 8. Here's Ramirez.
Oh, it's a fake.
It's a fake. They run it inside, and it's going nowhere. Not fooled a bit was big number 99, Antonio Torres. It's a nice design play, but Torres snuffed it out.
Yeah, you got to like Coach Juan rolling the bones here early. He's gotten a couple of turnovers from his defense, but 99 having none of it. Antonio Torres, the junior, just comes free and goes right for the football.
Nice job staying at home so they don't flip the field. Instead, Cannon Williams and that Hawk offense will get the ball near midfield. And we still haven't seen him look the way of Dre Spriggs, which means he might do it pretty soon as he hands off inside to McDade. And that's going nowhere because the Holmes front four doing their job. Rufus Toe again there with Isaac Salazar. Number 80 making a big play.
Trevor Varela as well. Holmes defense working on some things during the off week. Wanted to show and disguise, give some different looks that maybe Cannon Williams hadn't seen so far this year.
Williams on a play action wants to go deep and does. He's got his man, and it is just off the hands of Kamali Anderson, the senior wide receiver who's had a fantastic career there at Harlan. He was an all-district performer a year ago. And he had himself what could have been a touchdown there, and it just goes off his hands.
You know, Harlan's got so many athletes, Don, that they can just throw at you. They got wide receivers to burn. And so Holmes obviously knows they're going to have their hands full with all these athletes, but so far they've been equal to the task.
3rd down and 10. Little screen play. And it's snuffed out again. The Holmes defense coming through time after time here in the first quarter. They knew they're going against one of the most explosive teams in town, but Ernie Solis and company holding firm so far.
Super play in the open field by Xavier Martinez. It's the 2nd time we called his name making a big play in this ball game. And man, this is one heck of a performance so far by this Holmes defense.
Emmanuel De Los Santos on to punt it away. Ernie Solis drops back. Line drive right at him. Takes a couple hops, and he's going to get out of the way, but a good roll for the Harlan special teams inside the 10, and the Huskies will have it back when we come back. Zip, zip, 5:25 to go here in the first quarter at Gustafson Stadium. Welcome back to Gus. The Holmes Huskies have a lot to smile about on our Guild Mortgage Smile Cam. Their defense really coming through here in the first quarter, and that gives their offense, Christopher Medelas and company, another shot trying to get on the board first in a 0-0 game. They'll turn and hand off on first down right up the middle. Still churning for yardage, and now the big guys are pushing him forward for about 6.
Love it.
I thought it was going to go for about 3. Instead, it goes for about 5.
Oh, I just love it. I mean, we knew that this is the kind of effort we were going to get from these Huskies. It's a staple of any Juan Morales coach team, Nathan Williams and company. Some of these big beasties up front just churning and burning and doing the job.
Call it 7. It's second down and 3. Give it to him again, right up the middle, and again, some tough sledding. You get the idea that Juan Morales is just wants to bring a fight right now. Just wants to set the tone with their toughness and their physicality. It's like, okay, that happened on first down, and we owned you for about 7. Let's go do it again. And they do. They get the first down.
A good fight to return the favor by Jaden Jackson and the Harlan defense too. But yeah, I mean, this has been their MO all year, Don. I mean, again, they had some struggles early, but they've been really good these last 2 or 3 weeks in terms of just being in ball games, giving themselves a chance, and really taking the fight to the other team. I mean, they went toe-to-toe with a very dynamic Madison team. You know, beat Jay, which was obviously a really nice boost of confidence for this team. And, you know, Coach Morales says, man, I just like to fight my guys every single week. And, you know, I think the other team knows what they're going to get.
Here's another nice move. And another big gain here on the play for the Holmes Huskies.
Yeah, Juan Cisneros doing a very good job. Shifty with his feet, making a nice read initially at the point of attack and then kind of gliding outside. And, you know, initially didn't look like there was a whole lot there, but you look up and the young man picks up 6 yards for you.
Juan Cisneros, their 3rd leading rusher on the year. Wasn't on the depth chart, but he does show up on the stat sheet. They'll pitch it to him again, and this time he's going nowhere. Good job by that Harlan front, Jaden Jackson. He's going to be playing in our all-star game. He's also our scholar athlete. He's got college offers. And as you heard Coach Salas say, he was there from day 1 as a freshman, starting on their first JV team. They didn't have varsity football in year 1, and he's one of their leaders and has been from day 1 as a freshman.
4-year letterman, Don. Best part about this guy, top 5% in his class. What a stud.
4th down and 6, so Holmes will punt it away. Julius Ramirez gets it off. And Harlan will stay away from it, and a good roll for the Huskies inside the 40, and it'll be down at about the 37. We'll see if the Harlan Hawks can move the football. It's 0-0. 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter from Gustafson Stadium. Welcome back. It's our Plumbing Today band cam. Good to see the spirit groups and the bands out on a gorgeous night for football. The Husky spirit groups having a great time out here tonight. Zach Hedrick jamming with the percussion crew. I'm sure Zach's getting his groove on down there. So Harlan has had turnover issues here in the first quarter. And on 1st and 10, they're at their own 37. Let's see what they have in mind here. Run a man in motion, and they hand it to McDade on the run pass option. He gives a stiff arm to the defender, and there's going to be a face mask, an offensive face mask?
Let's find out.
I believe so. I think they're going to call it on McDade.
Face mask. Defense. 15 yards to the end of the line.
No, they're switching it. It's going to be on the offense. You don't see it very often.
No, you sure don't.
It's got to be egregious. You know, you get a chance to stiff arm. The only time they'll ever call that is if you actually grab and twist.
Yeah, Always kind of thought it was odd too. You know, it seems like, especially like at the NFL level, you see all kinds of guys offensively getting hands on other players, defenders' faces, and it's very rarely called, but it was called right there.
So it's 1st and 24. Here's a handoff. And getting a little bit of it back is De La Garza. But there's another penalty down. And so Harlan having all kinds of problems executing the offense here in the first quarter.
Well, they are, and a lot of it has to do with what kind of presence this Holmes defense has kind of shown here early in this football game. I mean, they have absolutely bowed up here and done the job to this point. Again, we know they've got their hands full with how many weapons Harlan's got at their disposal.
So we've got a holding call on Harlan, a sideline warning on Holmes, and it's 1st and 34 for Cannon Williams. So if you're ever going to go to your all-everything stud wide receiver, Dre Spriggs, who doesn't have a target here tonight yet, this might be the time. He's got 3 wides to his left, including Kamali Anderson. And you see the size of Williams and why he's a prospect. He'll swing it quickly, and he's got it to RJ De La Garza.
Christian Malley closing in a hurry and not whiffing on the tackle. I mean, these guys have been really good keeping everybody in front of them and then making a play when you get the opportunity on defense.
So now it's 2nd and 26. Spriggs is soloed up here on the near side. I don't think you'll see him get single coverage very often tonight. He's got it right now. Williams rolling the other way, now turns this way. He'll fire back. He's got his man, De La Garza, down the sideline. He's drilled out of bounds right at about the 37-yard line. And a collision of the game nominee right there. Juan Trejo, the captain, laying some wood.
Well, first of all, Cannon Williams doing a great job eluding the pressure, then throwing back across the field, but oh, Trejo, tally-ho. Bam.
Williams running for his life, cuts it back across the middle, and he gets all the way for a Mammoth contracting first down. Big play by Cannon Williams. Let's see if he's okay. His teammates want him to be, and he gets up a little slowly, but he's all right.
I think he's going to check out here for at least a play.
And Rufus Toe lost his hat, so he's got to come out for a play.
Just great play design there on 3rd and long by the Harlan Hawks. Getting their stud quarterback out in the open field, clear and free to navigate, and just did find the sticks, but they have to come out for at least a play.
Sam Martinez in at quarterback, and we'll check and see what's going on with Cannon Williams. He's walking all the way over to the tent there, and we're back in 15 seconds.
San Antonio International is the first and only airport to use the Light Strike robot, which is proven to destroy hard-to-kill viruses, to include the virus that causes COVID-19, providing the highest level of cleanliness so you can fly easier, fly safer, and fly confident.
Cannon Williams, one of the top recruited quarterbacks in San Antonio, is in the injury tent, and that'll bring out Sam Martinez, the senior. Doesn't get a lot of snaps, but
you can't go to sleep on him, right? I mean, look at those stats.
83% of his passes he's completed this year.
Yeah, I mean, almost flawless. 15 of 18, 157 and a touchdown. So Samuel getting the job done when called upon.
Well, he's ready to go here, and he's got Aubrey McDade, AJ back with him, and And if there's ever a security blanket, it's number 2, who, again, led San Antonio in everything last year as a running back. He hands it to him right up the middle. Here's McDade. Flag flies from the umpire. That's normally a hold. We'll sort that out later as McDade is shoved out of bounds.
Man, he is elusive. He breaks tackles, too.
Puts people in the spin cycle.
Indeed. I mean, again, can't say enough about the job that young man has done to work himself back into the equation here at Harlan.
All right, so they'll back it up. And they'll replay first down after the hold on Harlan. And you know, Eddie Salas told us earlier this week, while everybody was touting his all-everything skill position guys, he was saying, we got to clean it up. We got way too many penalties. And sure enough, here tonight, he's got a couple of turnovers and 3 penalties for 35 yards, all drive killers as we near the end of the first quarter. 22 seconds to go. De La Garza keeps, picks up a couple, and that will likely take us to the end of the first quarter. And the champion of the first quarter so far has been this Holmes Husky defense.
Indeed. Really bowing up, and it's the reason why we got goose eggs at the end of 1.
So when we come back, Harlan, without their star quarterback, will have second down and long in a scoreless game here on Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights. Welcome back. Time for our Air Serve Heating and Conditioning first quarter highlights. The Holmes defense, the star of the quarter, Xavier Martinez with the pick. And then it's Rufus Toe hit with that hit, causing a fumble. Ethan Turner recovers for the Huskies. They're pitching a shutout here as we start the second quarter. Harlan's got the football back. Pretty even stat board for the first quarter. Neither team really moving the football. And Sam Martinez remains the quarterback as they take a look at Cannon Williams on the sidelines. Actually, that was a direct snap to the running back, Richard R.J. De La Garza. And they may be just kind of running some wildcat here with him instead of going with Martinez. He comes out, and Kamali Anderson checks in. He's a starting wide receiver, and here comes Martinez back into the football game.
Well, both of these coaches have a lot of tricks up their sleeves, and I think you can count on the penalties in some part being attributed to the fact that these offenses like to do a lot of different things. And, when you have the shutdown and trying to find your way during the course of the year, you're going to have some sloppiness from time to time.
Got a pre-snap penalty there. I think it was a false start, or they called timeout first, and that's going to be the Hardin Hawks timeout. We'll take it with them as they had a little bit of an issue getting the right personnel out there. It's a 0-0 ball game here at Northside. Look at the permanent smile on the air conditioning service company smile cam. Now that's a mask we all need. Cannon Williams back in the ball game, throws the middle screen, and it may have been caught. It was by Kamali Anderson. Just basically back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down and 11, so they'll run the punt team out there. Good to see Williams back on the field. Nice catch there by Anderson, but not near enough for the first down. So,
well, just a great job by Holmes, dialing up some pressure. Jake Jackson coming on a blitz, and quarterback had to get rid of it a little quicker than he wanted to.
Holmes will take the punt on the hop, going down the field. And we did see a flag come in late. That was either a face mask, a horse collar, or both. That was a nice little return, but at the end of the play, you saw his head and neck jerk backwards. Ernie Solis. We'll wait for Chuck Mears to make the call. We'll take a look at it, as it is a horse collar. So they'll tack on 15 to the end of it, and you can see right here at the end of the play, grab him inside that shoulder pad, and Holmes coaches were lobbying for it, and they get the call. Good call.
Ernie Solis, looks like he's got rubber bands in those legs, man. He's very fortunate that he was able to pop up from that.
To South Texas Votech, first down for the Holmes Huskies, right at their own 41-yard line. The handoff goes to Venegas. Gets a couple. And Chuck, you know, you look at the records and you look at what we've heard coming into this ball game, and you expect, you know, to see all this explosive plays from the Harlan offense. But quite honestly, Holmes is executing at a high level on both sides of the ball.
Well, what I'm impressed with, Don, is that they've taken the fight to Harlan and kind of set the tone in this football game very early on.
Second down and 9, and again churning forward and still moving the pile is Venegas. And that gets all the way up close to the marker. It's going to be third down and short after another rugby scrum by this entire Holmes offense.
Godinez, Briones on the right side, Davis in the middle, and then Williams and De Leon over on the left. I mean, these dudes are just playing blood and guts football, plowing the road.
Godinez looks like a college football player playing high school football, just the mere size of him on that front line. They'll stretch it here to Venegas, and that time Harlan stretched out nicely and got there. It'll be fourth down and short. At this side of the field, and the success that Juan Morales' offense has had behind big number 78 there, I might run two right up the middle again and just move that pile again. It's kind of been their bread and butter. They've been successful at it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's your fail-safe, right? When in doubt, just run behind the biggins. Be careful, too, if you're Harlan. Don't get beat over the top.
Try a sneak here, and there, look at Venegas. He's going to pull and tackle his own man forward. Number 2, Nicholas Venegas, the running back, just bailed out his QB. He got behind him for the push and then tackled him and drug him forward.
We talked about not getting beat over the top, and it looked like
here he comes
Harlan
in right
had it
here,
stoned up there good
for the push, and watch his leg drive.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And he brings his quarterback forward.
Elijah Guerrero doing a really good job for the Harlan defense right there at the point.
It's a Sotec first down, going to the air, going deep, one-on-one coverage, and they're going to throw the flag. I'm not sure that ball was catchable, but they're going to call pass interference on Harlan. It was way overthrown, and the officials are going to talk it over, but it looks like it's going to be a pass interference call. What'd you think, partner?
Well, I mean, I didn't think it was catchable, but again, I mean, that's a judgment call, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you don't knock the guy off his route, maybe he does catch it. So we'll see what they do.
All right, so it's another South Texas Votech first down. Here's another look. I thought there was interference on the play.
He knocked him off his route right there near the top of the route.
Yeah, maybe he gets there, you know? He's not knocked off his route. Medella's quarterback boot cuts it inside. Nice little move there to turn it back inside to pick up about 3.
It's just interesting to watch Holmes operate this offense, right? I mean, on some of these runs, it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot there, but then you look up and they're making chicken salad out of you-know-what.
Chicken soup?
Yes, so to speak.
So they'll line up Nick Venegas next to Medelas. Quick throw to the outside. It's caught. Nice job by Joaquin Ramirez on the reception. Check that, Xavier Garcia.
nothing wrong with Medella's arm. Just a straight drop, and then bam, that thing was out quick. This young man has been in a lot of ball games over these last 3 years, so he's seen an awful lot. And man, Coach Morales could not say enough good things about this dude being the rock and the pillar of this whole organization.
It's another South Texas Votech first down as they run Venegas to the outside. Harlan does a nice job of pursuit, but not before Venegas gets about 3 or 4 more. And I tell you what, Nathan Johnson on this Harlan defense has been everywhere at the linebacking spot.
Well, I just really like the way they set up that run, and you get the ball carrier toting the rock, and then 21 Steven Agueros doing a super job getting to the guy that was going to try to make a tackle. Got his ball carrier another couple extra yards. They just do a really good job of blocking stuff up.
Medella's little play action. Now goes deep over the middle, back of the end zone, and overthrown and incomplete. And that'll set up 3rd down.
Well, you see how talented this DB core is for the Harlan Hawks. I mean, they've got some guys that can really fly around, know what they're doing. Heady bunch. Had everything covered up right there for sure. Stephen Tugman, 29 tackles on the season. Got good hair too.
So Medella's inside the Central Med red zone. Keeps up the middle, going for the first downs. Got the corner, got the 5. Touchdown Huskies! Holmes strikes first on a great little move by Christopher Medella's.
Yeah, just the whole Harlan, that side of the field, nowhere to be found once Medella's got to the second line of defense. And he hits the hole hard. Nice little cutback, keeps his feet, smells the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Holmes Huskies.
Nice play call as the big fella comes in to kick the extra point. It's a doink, it's loose, and it's going the other way. But because it hit the upright, it's dead at that point. Although Harlan's going to finish the run just to make sure. But it's all Holmes Huskies here. Early, their defense has been dominant, and they're first on the board on the touchdown by Medella's.
Hey TNL fans, Taco Cabana is proud to once again be the title sponsor of Thursday Night Lights. Enchiladas are back. It's Enchilada Fest. Stop by any Taco Cabana and enjoy so many to choose from. Make plans now to visit Taco Cabana after the game or this weekend. Enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, our thanks to Taco Cabana for being our title sponsor this year again on Thursday Night Lights. There you see the scoring drive, 9 plays, 69 yards, took up 4:43 off the clock, and Medella's capped it off with that 16-yard touchdown to make it 6-0 as the extra point was no good. Umari Massey back to receive the kick. This one's high, taken at the 19 and up the middle, and got some space and tripped up is Spriggs as we go down to the sidelines, and Zach Hedrick. Zach?
Thanks, Don. Yeah, we saw Cannon Williams come back before that last drive, and before that, he was inside the injury tent with his shoulder pads off. Trainers, it looked like, appeared they were putting some more padding around his torso, but of course he's back out there now for this next drive, guys.
He's grown a lot since last year. He was our player of the week last year. Got a chance to meet him and hand him a trophy, and boy, saw him on the sidelines today. What a difference a year makes. As you can see the size that he's put on.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right? They grow and become men over time. And it seems like it does. It happens overnight, but he's obviously put in the work too.
Harlan was lobbying for an offsides. Instead, they were going to get the the false start call. And Eddie Salas doesn't think so. He is lighting into our referee on the far sideline.
He's been on fire most of the night, right? I mean, he's not real thrilled with what's going on with his football team tonight, too. And during one of the prior timeouts was really letting them have it. So he's trying to get them fired up, get their energy level to where it needs to be. And right now his energy level is, I think, quite high.
He's high with his team. He's high with the officials. And I think for sure, I think what they had was they had an official who called an offsides and then deferred to another who called the false start. And Eddie's chewing out the official who wouldn't stand firm enough for his call. He is hot under the collar. It's going to be 1st and 15.
And you know it takes a lot to get him riled up. I mean, he's about as even-keeled as they come.
Are they going to change the call? No, they're going to back it up from here. And he's letting everybody within earshot know about it. And now they're giving him a warning. All right, so it's 1st and 20 now for Cannon Williams, who fires the little screen, getting to midfield and slung out of bounds. That's going to be 15 more added to that for the late hit on R.J. De La Garza. And they're going to get most of that back between the screen pass, the 15 that'll be added to it. It'll be a 1st down, and they'll be right back in business after all of that false start business. But you know what? Sometimes when you lobby as hard as Eddie just did, you know it's not doing you any good. But then, if that late hit is close, you might get that call just because you lobbied so hard. I don't think that one was that close.
Take it a step further, I thought there was almost a false start on that snap. So, I mean, to your point, I think it might have an effect.
We're not gonna call another one. I don't want to hear from this guy anymore. Eddie used to coach these Holmes Huskies, so there's nothing he's gonna talk him out of that one, though. They ran Cannon Williams out here as a receiver.
Now Coach Juan wants to get his group together and talk things over, and we're back in 15 seconds.
San Antonio International is the first and only airport to use the Light Strike robot, which is proven to destroy hard-to-kill viruses, to include the virus that causes COVID-19, providing the highest level of cleanliness so you can fly easier, fly safer, and fly confident.
So we saw Chuck Mears wave the yellow flag, so there won't be a penalty on the play. The timeout occurred before the penalty, so it'll be a South Texas Votech 1st down and 10 for the Harlan Hawks at the Holmes 35. As you take a look at our Orange Theory Fitness band cam, looking at the Holmes Huskies. Well, these bands all dressed up in their good uniforms these days. The formal ones.
Looking good. I think if you're Juan Morales and the Holmes Huskies, man, this first half has gone exactly how you planned it. You're playing good defense. You've created some turnovers. You've got the lead, and you've shortened this game. I mean, you've been really doing a good job of keeping this explosive Harlan offense off the field. And then when they're on it, you're making a play on D.
Quick play action. Williams wanted to go deep. Now he scrambles. He's going nowhere. The Holmes Huskies there to snuff it out. Isaac Salazar, the defensive end, staying at home and making a good one-on-one tackle.
Boy, Cannon Williams, one of the toughest guys, toughest quarterbacks around to try to get down when he's out there scrambling around. But what an unbelievable job by that young man, blocking down, staying in his lane, making a play.
So they'll run McDade here on 2nd down. He gets only about 6 of it back. It'll be 3rd down and long for Harlan as we get near the 5-minute mark.
was a nice aggressive run, though, by McDade. Hitting that hole and taking the fight a little bit to the Holmes defense, and at least giving his team somewhat of a chance here on 3rd and 12 to, even if they don't make the first down, maybe make a decision to go for it on 4th.
Two wide receivers to the right, including Dre Spriggs, and now we have a whistle, and the Holmes defense going to take another timeout. And let's hear the message from our friends over at San Antonio Sports.
Well, Thursday Night Lights is, a great opportunity to reach and motivate our high school athletes, their families, coaches, etc. We've tried to do that with the Beyond the Game program. Sinclair Broadcast Group and Methodist Healthcare have been great partners. And, the program really encourages high school and middle school teams to submit narratives and pictures and videos of things that they are doing to reflect key character traits, respect, selfless service. Those types of things with community service tend to feed on each other. So we started 4 years ago with 20 high schools submitting, and last year we had over 70. And so we're anticipating a lot more this year. It keeps growing, but it really sets the tone for the coaches, parents, and players to do things beyond what they do on the field or the court.
We've been partners in this program for a couple of years now, and at Methodist Healthcare, our mission is serving humanity to honor God. And we think that getting our student athletes and our school districts involved in community outreach programs is a great way of living that message and really instilling that kind of thought process and behavior within the high school and middle school audience. So it's just a great program, and we're inspired by what the work the kids are doing in the communities.
Our thanks to San Antonio Sports, Russ Bookbinder, and everything they do for the Beyond the Game program. Of course, the San Antonio Sports All-Star Game that we'll call on January 30th. Announced the players this week. And kids really excited to be playing in that game, including this quarterback right here, Cannon Williams. 3rd down and 12 for him. Looks right the entire time. One-on-one coverage for his favorite target. Got it. Touchdown, Dre Spriggs. We've been waiting for that. That's the combo we talked about coming in, and it finally pays off here with 4:26 to go in the first half.
Cannon Williams absolutely on target. Drops back, squares his feet. He couldn't have thrown it any better. Again, just a great play design. And I know that's one of the reasons why Holmes decided to call timeout. They were really concerned about Michael Bell and Dre Spriggs on the same side of the field. They put Michael Bell in motion, gave him something to look at, and then just basically cleared out for Dre Spriggs to run down the field and make a play.
And Emmanuel De Los Santos breaks the tie with the PAT, and so Harlan goes in front 7-6 after the 37-yard touchdown pass from Cannon Williams to Dre Spriggs.
And this is what's so difficult if you're the Holmes Huskies when you're playing a squad like Harlan, because you're giving them the old rope-a-dope for a few rounds, and then all of a sudden they can hit you over the top like that and get right back in a ball game.
Told you about our San Antonio Sports All-Star Game. We got 4 of these All-Stars in this game tonight. 2 just hooked up for that touchdown. Spriggs and Williams, they joined their defensive teammate, Jaden Jackson, who's also on the squad. And big 78, Kevin Godinez for Holmes. Part of that reason they've been winning those rugby scrum rushes as he's moved the pile. He'll be playing in that game also January 30th at Heroes Stadium this year. Chuck and I will have the call on the CW35 at 2 o'clock on January the 30th. Glad to see that the tradition continues in San Antonio, even though the All-American Bowl is canceled this year because of COVID. The San Antonio Sports All-Star Game, which has gone on for decades here in San Antonio, will continue.
Just so many great stories leading up to that huge ball game, that All-Star game in January, and Godinez maybe right up at the top, Don. I mean, this young man suffered a devastating knee injury last year, about 3 games into the season, and then worked his way back into the equation this year, worked super hard to get back, and again, rewarded for his efforts. Glad to see it.
Absolutely. And he's, like I said, when you take, if you're just sitting in the stands, when they all get in their stance right before the snap, he literally looks like a dad out there playing with kids. 3-year starter, second team, mechanical engineering major as he goes on to the college level. And they're going to throw on first down as Medellez runs for his life now. He wanted to throw it. He picks up about 2 on the scramble. They'll set up second down and 8.
Good job by Medellez. Just good decision making. Looking downfield, not a lot of places to go with the football. And, you know, you've done a really good job decision making, managing the game to this point. Obviously, you're down by a point because of the mixed PAT, but just a very steady, sturdy performance here as we wind down time here in the second quarter.
Holmes with a chance to try to go on top here with 3:46 as they'll run a quarterback called run here for Medellez. He's got room down the middle, breaks it across the 45 all the way down to the 46-yard line. And for the second drive in a row, we're seeing the wheels on this quarterback from Holmes.
And again, just the way they block things up, it's just really fun to watch. They're just executing a run play. And down there at the end, Juan Cisneros doing a good job again to help his guy spring him for the extra yards. Just really fundamental and fun football to watch.
Here he goes again, this time staying home and slinging him down is Nathan Johnson. Called his name all night long. He is standing out here tonight on that Harlan defense.
You know, one of the team captains came into this ball game with 60 tackles on the season. Also has a pick returned for a touchdown. So he has one of those guys that you come to watch the Harlan Hawks play, you know that 42 is going to be in on a lot of plays.
He runs to the football, that's for sure. Second down, 12 for the Huskies. Medellez straight drop, fires the out, and it's incomplete, intended for Isaiah Jones, and he just kind of led him too far to the outside. Good coverage there. Stephen Tugman on the coverage. That stops the clock with 2:39 to go. But again, the Huskies with pretty good field position here, nearing midfield. Plenty of time. No timeouts left. They burned them all on defense. Medellez wants to go deep, fires again to the outside, and Isaiah Jones looked like got crossed up a little bit with the signals, so that'll set up fourth down, and they'll have to punt it away as Julius Ramirez will come in to kick it away. And it's going to be interesting to see what Harlan wants to do. They'll have one timeout. They'll get the football back with at least 2 minutes to go, and we'll see what their field position is like after the return by R.J. De La Garza.
Well, it was a really good play design there on third down by the Holmes Huskies. Medellez doing a good job with his pocket presence, stepping up. He just couldn't connect.
Gets the punt off. They'll let it bounce and roll, and it takes a good Holmes roll inside the 20 and all the way down to the 14-yard line, and that'll give us an opportunity to, don't forget about the Children's Hospital of San Antonio $5,000 band grant. One of the schools that we have all year on TNL is going to get $5,000 thanks to the Children's Hospital of San Antonio. It's all based on your votes. So if you like the Harlan band tonight, text band 21 to 44332. Band 22 for the Holmes band, also to 44332. And if you had a team play earlier in the year on TNL, they can text all season long. Whoever gets the most votes gets the $5,000 band grant courtesy of the Children's Hospital of San Antonio. Quick throw to the outside is complete. Umari Massey with the reception.
If you're the Holmes defense, you got to keep everything in front of you, and not an easy thing to do, as we just saw on the previous Harlan drive. But make them earn it. Make them have to go down the field on you bit by bit, not on huge chunks.
Massey gets about 7. Williams throwing over to him again on the near side. He's got the 25, cuts it up to about the 28-yard line. That'll stop the clock momentarily for a South Texas Votech first down. And then they'll set it, and we'll go here quickly, 2:04 to go. They actually went really quick on that clock. As Williams will drop again. He's pressured, fires long over the middle. He's got Spriggs, but it's underthrown, incomplete, almost intercepted. Good coverage there. And it took a hop as he tried to sell it, did Ernie Solis.
Well, it all starts with Rufus Toe. On the previous play, he dropped into coverage after rushing the quarterback. That play, he got the pressure on the quarterback and made him throw it before he wanted to, and just off the fingertips. It could have been the third turnover for this Holmes defense. It's really played its heart out here in this first half.
Ernest Solis with really good coverage there on Spriggs. Still plenty of time, and we're going to have a stoppage here. The officials' timeout.
And Rufus Toe is going to have a chance to play at the next level, Don. I mean, obviously COVID and the shutdown has hurt a lot of kids and their ability to get looks, but man, I am really impressed with this young man. I mean, just a motor that won't quit, and he can make plays on top of it. Got good size. He's probably going to be a linebacker at the next level, but mercy, is he a handful.
And a great student, as you said earlier. Williams wants to go deep again, fires over the middle, and that is going to be picked off on the tip drill. Holmes comes up with it, but there is a flag down, so we'll sort that out after the tip drill is picked off by Jake Jackson. If it's on Holmes, Harlan would keep possession. Don't know if it was on the return. They'll shorten it all out, sorting the clock out as well. Here's Chuck Mears.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, other return 15 yards from the ball, 15, first down, hold.
Well, you can't say enough about the job that Adrian Trevino, the defensive coordinator, has dialed up for this ball game. Lots of different looks is what they are giving Cannon Williams on offense, and that looked like the old set play from volleyball, right?
Yeah,
just tip it up for your bro.
Ethan Turner batting it up in the air. Nice play by him, and again, underthrown by, I don't know, Cannon Williams, we thought he might have been injured earlier as they were taping up his torso, but since then, he's had a number of balls that have been underthrown. So he threw that one off his back foot. They run Venegas on first down. He gets across the 40, and the clock is running at 1:32, and Holmes has got to be feeling good. Going to the locker room down 7-6, or if they can take the lead here, it's going to be tough with no timeouts. But I like the legs of Medelis. He's been showing us his speed here in the second quarter. And now they're going to have an illegal substitution. 12 men on the field. Broke the huddle without 11.
Illegal substitution on the offense.
It does stop the clock, and you only lose 5 yards, so it's not all bad. Xavier Garcia splits to the right. He's got 3 split to his left, and he's got Venegas next to him. Under a minute to go now. Fires over the middle. That ball's almost picked off. Tipped again by you-know-who. Nathan Johnson had his hands all over it as well.
Talk about disguising looks. That time Johnson did a little bit. Dropped into a zone and got some heat up front. Gotta like it. Make the quarterback get rid of it before he wants to.
Be interesting to see if Eddie Salas uses his last timeout after this play to stop the clock and get it back. They'll run Medelis right up the middle. He slides down, and he's got the marker.
Yeah, he slid
he's
short.
Close. He's going to be. They're going to mark it short. They're going to mark it 1.5 yards short. The head linesman's going to say, move that up for a yard.
Yeah, I think he had all the intentions of the world of sliding for the sticks, but they're marking him short.
And they're taking their time as the tick-tock goes to 4th and 1. Plenty of time, they'll sneak it here. And now they're going to throw a flag for a pre-snap penalty. Now that changes things. Instead of 4th and half a yard, it's 4th and 5.5. And what do you do here? You risk having a punt blocked, or you just go for it again on 4th and 6?
All I know is you better pick up the sticks, because if you don't, Harlan's going to go for the home run ball.
They're going to go for it. Or they maybe try to draw them off sides. They may have. There's a flag down. They'll stop the clock with 16 seconds to go, as you see the head linesman on this side making the call. It's not enough, but they'll replay 4th down, right? With about, 4th and where we were at the beginning.
They're playing a little table tennis with the flags here on the 5 yards there, but
yeah,
again, you're facing the same situation. You better get the sticks, because if you don't, Harlan's going to run their home run hitters out there and take some shots.
Well, now you don't even have to snap it, because they started the clock on the wind, and so that's just going to take us to the end of the half. Which, if you're Holmes, that's a best case scenario. So a good defensive battle here in the first half at Gustafson Stadium. Harlan leads it 7-6, but Holmes has come to play. The defense answering the challenge. When we come back, we'll have our America's Diamond halftime show. We'll hear the bands and our scholar athletes. Don't go anywhere on Thursday Night Lights.
This is Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights, presented by Thomas J. Henry and sponsored by Vulcan Materials Company, America's Diamond, the Children's Hospital of San Antonio, RNL Certified Auto Group, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning, Affordable Health Insurance Agency, Orange Theory Fitness, Air Today Heating and Air Conditioning, Guild Mortgage, San Antonio Sports, Methodist Healthcare, Plumbing Today, Texas Water Advisor, Beluga Air, Bargain Warehouse Outlet, JD Collision Express, Air Conditioning Service Company, the San Antonio International Airport, Centro Med, Mammoth Contracting, and Monarch Trophies. Welcome to the America's Diamond Halftime Show.
Welcome back to Gustafson Stadium, where halftime is underway, and the Hawks lead the Huskies 7-6 here at halftime. The Huskies with 3 turnovers, making this a game, but late in the second quarter, Cannon Williams connected with Dre Spriggs to give the Hawks the lead at the break here. And right now, the Harlan Hawk Marching Band and their Spirit Squad are on the field, and earlier this week, we caught up with the drum majors from the Harlan Hawk Band.
My name is Camille Johnson. I'm a senior, and I'm the head drum major. So basically, we all work as a team, but what I do is, like, I start our show, like, I start with the tempo, and then they all kind of join in and, like, conduct with me for the rest of the band.
Hi, I'm Sydney Acosta. I'm a junior, and I'm one of the assistant drum majors this year.
Hello, my name is Sky Duncan. I'm a senior, and I'm also one of the assistant drum majors here at Harlan High School.
Hi, my name is Pauline Romero, and I'm a senior. I'm also one of the assistant drum majors. We help each other lead the band to become better marchers and better musicians.
This fall, we've been working on our show, which is a combination of Queen music,
Fat Bottom Girls, and We Will Rock You. But it's also very creative because we put our own, like, unique, like, things that you can interact with the crowd, and it just sounds really cool.
We've been working since about the beginning of August virtually, and we just started to become in person towards the end of August. And we've just been working on, putting a performance on the field, even if it's not as big as the past years, just putting something out there for everybody to do.
We're very proud of them because considering COVID and how much it's affected us all, they've done really well to adapt to going on Zoom and then coming in person, this and that, just making accommodations. They've done really well with it.
We've been hanging out together safely with social distancing and all of that. We still make time to make sure we socialize and visit with our friends, and we do things together outside of band as well. So in the stands, we help conduct the band when they're playing music, but whenever the drumline is performing a cadence, we're usually in the stands dancing with the band and just trying to keep the energy flowing as well.
As of right now, we're not really quite sure what the future holds. We're just kind of going week by week, day by day. But hopefully, by the time we reach the spring, we'll be able to put on a UIL performance like we usually do every year and try to get a superior rating. We have harlanhawksband.org. You can put that in Google and go to the website.
Our thanks to the Harlan Hawk drum majors as they kick off their Queen-inspired show here at the Gus. And it's time to vote. If you're a fan of the Harlan Hawk Band, this is for the Children's Hospital San Antonio $5,000 band grant. To vote for the Harlan Band, text BAND21 to 44332. That's BAND21 with no spaces to 44332. Complete texting guidelines, head on over to the CW35.com. Thanks again to the Children's Hospital of San Antonio for making the $5,000 band grant possible.
San Antonio middle and high school athletes are doing great things for our community. San Antonio Sports and Methodist Healthcare are shining the light on teams that model key values through their actions. This week, we salute two schools whose community projects demonstrate beyond the game values. Clark Cougar athletes came together with volunteers from University United Methodist Church and Northside board member Katie Reed to help build picnic tables, enhancing amenities on campus. At Southside High School, Cardinal athletes helped with the San Antonio Food Bank distribution to more than 2,700 families at the district's Kim Rapier Food Pantry. These athletes demonstrated the beyond the game values of sportsmanship, selfless service, caring, integrity, and respect. San Antonio Sports and Methodist Healthcare salute high school and middle school coaches who inspire their teams to serve others. Parents, teachers, and coaches can nominate teams that go beyond the game. Visit sanantoniosports.org.
You're watching the America's Diamond Halftime Show.
Back here at Gus, and Harlan Hawks Band just cleared the field, and the Holmes High School Marching Band getting ready to prepare for their homecoming festivities here. And right now, at the end of the season, Vulcan Materials Company, they'll be presenting a $10,000 scholarship to one of the students featured on our Thursday Night Lights season. It's time to meet this week's nominees. Our scholar athlete from Harlan High School is Jaden Jackson. The senior team captain and defensive lineman currently has a GPA of 98.96.
It's something my parents have instilled in me since I was young.
Harlan coaches say Jaden has the distinction of starting every game in the history of Harlan football. He also throws discus for the Hawks track and field team.
When I was young, it's funny, my mom's always telling me this, how I never liked sports.
Jaden is also a member of the Harlan's Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
We do like toy drives or like Angels Tree around Christmas time, or we go to the food bank and volunteer.
When he's not on the field or studying for tests, Jaden writes poetry, something he's been doing since the second grade.
if there's just, something on my mind or something I need to get off my chest, I'll, write something for it.
Jaden is still deciding which college he'd like to attend, but he has a game plan of what he'd like to study.
It's kind of changed around. I used to want to be a civil engineer, but I think now I might major in either sociology or psychology.
Our scholar athlete from Holmes High School is Valentino Vasquez. The senior defensive back currently has a GPA of 96.79.
Even my early ages, like during kinder and first grade, I found everything like pretty easy.
Tino also runs several relay events for the Husky track and field team. His competitiveness carries over into the classroom.
My brain likes numbers, and whenever I get a math test, the adrenaline shoots and my blood's rushing. I just always liked math. Even during fourth grade, I would ask the teacher to give me the sixth grade test, and I would score a 90 on it without any practice or anything.
Tino is a member of the English National Honor Society. Away from the field, he volunteers with the food bank in Haven for Hope.
I signed up for the kitchen, I think. Yeah, and then we were making the food and all that, and I was like, oh, it's not that hard. And it's pretty cool to see smiles on people's faces.
After graduation, Tino plans on studying business management.
I would love to go to UT, mainly because I like everything they're about. I like their colors too.
You're watching the America's Diamond Halftime Show.
Welcome back to the Gus. And right now, Husky fans are getting introduced to their homecoming king and queen. You just heard it live right there. And of course, the Husky band on the field right now, celebrating homecoming. The band is led by head director Daniel Lugo. The assistant band directors are Joey Pereira and Rod Herrera. The color guard is instructed by Ruben Alejandre. This year, the marching band is made up of 65 students for the Huskies. The drum majors are Damon Sainz Lopez, Ricardo Garza, and Javier Solis. As the homecoming king and queen take their stroll here, it's time once again to vote. If you're a fan of the Husky band, text band 22 to 44332. Again, that's band 22 with no spaces to 44332. Once again, we'd like to thank the Children's Hospital of San Antonio for making the $5,000 band grant possible. Stick with us right after this. Chuck and Don get you ready for the second half.
You're watching the America's Diamond Halftime Show.
Welcome back. Thursday Night Lights. It's the America's Diamond Halftime Show. Right now, it's time for our AHIA first half highlights. The Holmes Huskies came to play in this one tonight, especially defensively. Xavier Martinez with the pick. Went to a 0-0 score. And it was big Rufus Togue causing the fumble. Ethan Turner recovered that one. They got on the board first when Chris Medeles scored to make it 6-zip, but Harlan took the halftime lead. Cannon Williams going to Dre Spriggs, 37 yards. And there was another interception there. You can see this intensity going on here. We're gonna have an intense second half. Harlan and Holmes, we're coming back with the second half kickoff after this.
You're watching Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights, presented by Thomas J. Henry.
Welcome back to Thursday Night Lights. It's Harlan over Holmes, 7-6 here at the half. We're getting ready to start the third quarter. And Chuck, Holmes very impressive on the ground. Medeles doing a lot of that with Venegas, 89 yards and hanging in there. And the turnovers the key for Harlan after giving up 3. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about this first half to me is obviously we were one doink off the crossbar from being all square at 7, and for such a low-scoring game, you'd think it'd kind of be a snooze alert, but it's been anything but. There have been some huge plays turned in by this Holmes defense, and they've done a reasonably good job moving the football. They just got to cash some of these drives in. And then we saw from Harlan, essentially the bulk of their offense came on one play, but that's the beauty of what this Harlan program is all about, right? Kind of reminds you of those Raiders teams back in the 70s. They could make a ton of mistakes, have a ton of penalties, but you look up at the end of the year and they're right there playing in a championship game somewhere. I mean, this team, so explosive, but Holmes has really done a good job hanging in there and giving themselves a puncher's chance here in the second half.
Well, you get the feeling that Eddie Salas may have had a few choice words for his ball club, because as you said to start this ball game, it was Holmes bringing the fight to Harlan and kind of hit him in the mouth early to take that lead. But to Holmes' credit, they never let up, and now they've got some confidence. Harlan has not executed well, and they had a little spot there where they lost their starting quarterback to injury a little bit. He's back, so we'll see how they respond here in the second half, but it'll be the Huskies who get it first as our second half kickoff, brought to you by the R&L Certified Auto Group, is getting ready to be underway here as Emmanuel De Los Santos will kick it off to the Huskies. Ernie Solis, Gallegos, Xavier Garcia back for it. And it's kind of mishandled. Look out! It's loose. I believe Harlan's got the football. They're sorting it out. And they do. Whistles galore. And they're calling a timeout on the field for an injury. But it does look like it's going to be Harlan football to start the second half after the turnover. Tyree Solomon came up with it, it appears.
Don, this just reminds me of a pop fly between the infield and the outfield in baseball. Somebody's got to have priority when you have two guys in the area ready to return a kick. One guy shields the other, and all of a sudden the ball's loose, and then it's a scrum to get the football, but just a huge play turned in by the special teams of the Harlan Hawks to start the second half. I mean, everything has gone Holmes' way pretty much. Sands for one play in that first half, and then you come out and steal a possession like that. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, Solomon just ripped it away from Venegas, who was on his back. And you can see Tyree just jumped on top of it and yanked it away from him, as the injured player was Jalen Tyler Moses, but he looks like he's going to be okay. So huge break to start this ball game.
Yeah, we were talking to Coach Morales, he was really concerned about cleaning up some stuff on special teams, and then has one bite him right there to start the second half.
So Williams, with McDade next to him, has Spriggs to his right, Kamali Anderson to his left, hands it off, and it goes for about 2 to Aubrey McDade.
That's just a big-time play in the open field by Ernie Solis. I mean, these Huskies have really come to play, and that's not a shock. I mean, we knew we were going to get that, but the fact that they're executing so well on defense, they've really taken their defensive performance to another level here tonight.
Sets up 2nd down and 8. Williams, hands inside to McDade, watch out. McDade to the 5, takes a big hit. Bounces inside to about the 4-yard line.
They're gonna go hurry here.
Set up 1st and goal. They bounce it. McDade trying to get outside, will not. As a bunch of Huskies bounce him out after a loss on the play.
Fantastic overall defense by these Huskies. Juan Trejo in on that. Trevor Varela, the young man that was homecoming king at halftime, taking the party to the second half. I mean, that was a huge play.
Loss of about 7. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 11. They had it on the 4. They've got Kamali Anderson at the bottom of your screen, Spriggs at the top. Williams is looking left, still looks that way, under pressure, gets out of that, makes a nice move, and Cannon Williams is gonna stroll in for 6. Nice individual effort, a little ad-lib by Cannon Williams.
And he's such a big presence back there, and wow, what an unbelievable play. I mean, Holmes had 2 guys in there to make a play, and Cannon Williams somehow able to skirt the blitz, and then an okey-doke, finds the pylon, and little showtime for the end of that.
The extra point is up and good, but we'll have to check on Cannon. He was limping as he went towards the bench. We'll see if he's okay, but Harlan on top now, 14-6 here early in the third.
Closed captioning for today's game is sponsored by Texas Water Advisor.
Welcome back. Cannon Williams is walking it off. We saw him after that play holding his left knee, which he's got a brace on. But we'll see if he returns as he's limping around. He looks like he's having a good time. And okay. Zach, what'd you see?
Yeah, trainers were down here looking at his left ankle, but he's walking around, and, you know, after scoring that touchdown, he kind of did a dance move too. I don't know if that was, you know, the precursor to that or what, but he's moving around all right now.
Yeah, Don, you know, he's had a high ankle sprain that he's been dealing with all season. He's also got a banged up non-throwing shoulder, so he's kind of toughed it out here all season long, but man, his team needing a play and playing outstanding complementary football. You get the huge play on your special teams to start the second half, and nothing better than to go down and cash that in when given the extra opportunity. That's what Holmes did in the first half. Now Harlan takes advantage, and they're up by 8.
14-6, so we'll see the Husky offense over the Mammoth Contracting first down is on their first snap. They turn and hand it off. New ball carrier, that's Juan Cisneros. He's had 1 carry earlier tonight.
Amadou Diallo, that was a man-sized tackle right there, young man. Square him up, take him down.
That'll set up 2nd down and 9 for Medelez and company. They'll hand it to Cisneros again. He gets a couple more. It's interesting, you know, I was asking Coach Morales before the game, I said, you know, you keeping the guys involved? He said, yeah. He goes, you know, what we do is every week now we're just letting them know how grateful they should be to play 1 more game, because this thing could get shut down at any time because of COVID. And I said, oh, I see your record, but, you know, have games gotten away from you, like 48-7, you know, 63-3 or whatever? He goes, yeah, you know why? Special teams. And he said, we've had some breakdowns there. And we see it here to start the second half. That little muff gives Harlan all the momentum here after they played such a great first half. So we'll see if they can bounce back here. Don't quite pick up the first down there, so it looks like they'll run out the punt squad. Julius Ramirez will do the honors.
Well, it's amazing too, and you know, it's been very difficult. All these schools, obviously, with the challenges of the shutdowns and the starts and all that. I mean, to be absolutely clean in every single phase. You're trying to implement an offense, get your defense right, and then, man, these things rear their heads. They can be lethal on special teams.
That punt will bounce inside the 40 and all the way down almost to the 30-yard line, and we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll see Cannon Williams and company and see if he walks that off. Looks like he's ready to go. We'll be ready to go when we come back. Cannon Williams and company ready to go here. Here's one of our Beluga Air player profiles. There you see Cannon. That's what Chuck's hair looks like when he gets out of the shower before he combs it all down.
When I used to have hair.
Is the MVP. McDade's got it. He's got about 3. here on first down. And Chuck, we said at the half, you know, Eddie Salas probably had some choice words for his ball club. We'll see if they respond. And sure enough, they get the special teams play. And just like that, a couple plays later, Williams with a great run and seemed to have a little bit more urgency here in the third quarter.
Well, what's kind of plagued Holmes we talked about with the special teams, and for Harlan, it's, you know, they had to kind of juggle their offensive line starting the season. It's usually some of the things that you work out in the offseason, but they've kind of had to mix and match to get to this point, but these guys are starting to pick it up too.
McDade running hard right up the middle. Short of the first down, but he picks up another 4 or 5. Taking a look at our Plumbing Today band cam, and hey, standing ovation, hats off to the Harlan band at halftime.
Right?
Well, we are the champions. Man, were they good. Loud, in sync.
Yeah, very tight, very impressive. It was one of those things I had to stop and watch and listen. Command performance.
Very nice. 3rd down and 2. Williams throws the quick slant, completes it. I'll tell you what, they really depend on that young man, RJ De La Garza. He does a little bit of everything for him. Returns kicks, plays a little running back, plays a little slot, and has his hands on the football quite a bit. Good things happen when he does.
As mentioned, I mean, they just stack them and rack them in terms of playmakers over at Harlan. Seen a little bit of everything tonight.
That's a Mammoth Contracting first down for the Hawks. Holmes showing blitz, they back out of it, but not Big Toe. He gets in there, and Holmes gonna stop De La Garza short. We saw Big Rufus Toe burst through there again. Almost got to Williams before he could get rid of it.
Man, he is some kind of ball player. It was fun watching guys like Toe play. 33.
I didn't mean to call him Big Toe. I just meant to call him. He's
Save
big
your-
and his name's Toe.
Right?
I mean, I guess we could nickname him Sergeant Holka. Very obscure Stripes reference there. You know. If you know, you know. 2nd down and 8. Up the middle, McDade. McDade gashes it inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line.
And you could see slowly but surely during the course of this game, A.J. McDade starting to get his confidence back, trying to play a full game on a dislocated ankle that he's coming back from.
Here he comes again. Got another 3 or 4 right there.
I mean, he just hits the hole and goes, and then, you know, finishes with authority too.
A little slow getting up there, but he, you know, he's wanted to play so badly all year long. This is his 3rd game back, but they've been very careful, making sure he only got a couple carries in the last couple of games. But Salas said this week in practice he was 100, so we're going to give him the ball. De La Garza slung down short of the marker. It'll set up 3rd down and short.
This Holmes team, Don, best team we've seen all year tackling, right? I mean, they just don't miss. These guys are in. They're coming with some punishment. Really clean.
Here's the 3rd down play. It's De La Garza. He's got the first down. He's got more. He's inside the Central Med red zone and out of bounds. And he picks up another Mammoth Contracting first down, and he's walking a little gingerly. He's a little wildcat to him the whole way. Williams back in at quarterback. McDade behind him. Split to the short side at the top of your screen. And Kamali Anderson at the bottom. Instead, they hand up the middle. It's McDade who's tripped up and stumbles. He thinks he should have had a touchdown there, but lost his footing. I think a turf monster jumped up and grabbed him right at about the 7.
Well, look at this hole. Blocked up nice by the big fellas up front from the Harlan Hawks.
McDade has it again, and again the Holmes defense stretches it out and throws him down. Holmes doing a good job of running to the football. George Ibarra with a few choice words for McDade after making a nice play. We noticed this back when Juan Morales was coaching at Highlands. His teams just scrap. And it doesn't matter what the score is or what part of the game it is. And that's the highest compliment you can pay to a coach. Little zone read again. De La Garza keeps. Takes a big shot from toe. Gains about 2. And you know, this ball club of Holmes last year went 0-10. But you never know it by the way they played.
Yep.
They play hard.
Had a long losing streak this year from last year that they snapped against Jay. But again, I mean, I know we saw Coach Morales work miracles at Highlands and get them off the deck after a long losing streak. So it can be done.
Walks in. Touchdown, Hawks. Aubrey McDade.
Got to feel happy for that young man, right?
And that's what that emotion is all about. This is a young man who, quite on it, you know, along with L.J. Butler from Wagner last year, was the best back in San Antonio, ran for over 2,000 yards and 22 touchdowns, was the district MVP of 29-6A, and has missed the entire season as they have a little bust here. Can't quite convert on the fire drill. But he's finally back playing football, and that's his first touchdown back after the injury. And he had a little fist pump to say, I'm back. It's about time.
AJ the Great.
Oh, it's time for the Guild Mortgage Smile Cam. Go on, Mom. That's what you like to see. Hey, 2020's been rough, but man, you can still have fun at the football game.
Darn right, and man, just can't say how happy we are for AJ McDade to get into the end zone for the first time this season. As we said, early on, our first scrimmage of the season, this young man dislocates his ankle on the second play of the first scrimmage before the season even gets started. Don, you mentioned 2,000 yards rushing and 22 scores a year ago. The year before that, the guy was a 1,000-yard rusher. I mean, this guy's been something else. And, oh, man, Holmes is having a hard time returning these kicks.
It's going to be down inside the 5-yard line, and we're back in 15 seconds.
San Antonio International is the first and only airport to use the Light Strike robot, which is proven to destroy hard-to-kill viruses, to include the virus that causes COVID-19, providing the highest level of cleanliness so you can fly easier, fly safer, and fly confident.
Yeah, just had a hard time getting a handle on it. And so Holmes will be backed up as Harlan has started to open it up a little bit here in the third quarter. 2:41 to play here in the third. Christopher Melendez, and the South Texas Votech first down as he hands to Venegas. He's got about 5 of it back, and we've got an injured player down for the Huskies. That's Joseph Leos, and let's hope he's all right.
And Nate Johnson looks the part at that linebacking spot, doesn't he? Shoots in there, makes a tackle.
All night long, he has been the name we've called, he and along with Jaden Jackson. But, yeah, Nathan Johnson really showing up here tonight. Nadella is back out with 2:17 to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 7. It's a called quarterback run the whole way. And this time the Harlan defense stretches that out, takes him down for no gain. Christian Espinosa on the tackle, along with Antonio Torres.
Yeah, Espinosa blowing that up almost from the beginning, shooting through and waiting for a couple of his buddies to get in there and help out. Just a great all-around job by this Harlan defense. It's really asserted itself very well here tonight, holding the Huskies offense down as much as possible.
Blitz action, they see it, unload, complete it, and get out of bounds. I believe that's going to be enough to move the sticks. It is.
Yeah, Michael Cortez getting the reception there and picking up the sticks. Another great play design by the Holmes Huskies. I mean, send some guys, send them deep, clear out, chuck it underneath, and move the sticks.
South Texas, or Mammoth contracting first down here. They run it to Venegas. He looks inside. He's a tough physical runner, not afraid of contact at all. Picks up about 2, maybe 3. And you just get the sense, no matter what the score is, these Holmes Huskies, when you call an inside running play between the tackles, it's almost like, you know, they're licking their chops. The linemen love it. The backs are tough. They love it. They look forward to the challenge. Here's another one. Venegas dropped, and that's Jaden Jackson, the San Antonio Sports All-Star Game All-Star. You can see why. He's got great size and cat quick up there, able to drag down Venegas.
And certainly Holmes has had their issues with injuries at the running back spot too, as we take a look at Jaden Jackson, a 3-year starter who's seemingly been at Harlan High School since its inception, which he has. Done a great job, and what a fine football player he is with tons of college scholarship offers as well. Ball's
Got
loose.
loose. Medeles got on top of it. And guess who's right there around the football again? That's right, 42, Nathan Johnson.
Yeah, just to kind of finish the thought, though, I mean, you know, JCC Snedos was hurt for Holmes at the running back spot, so they've kind of mixed and matched. So a lot of challenges for 2020 in a lot of different ways for both of these teams.
Third quarter flying by, Harlan on top, 20-6. We're back for fourth quarter action. The homecoming king and the Holmes Huskies giving Harlan a game, but it's 20-6. We're coming back for the fourth quarter right after this. Welcome back. It's our Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning third quarter highlights. Cannon Williams showing off his wheels. Put the Hawks up 14-6, and then A.J. McDade, first touchdown back from that dislocated ankle that cost him most of this season. And Harlan has come out really inspired here in the third quarter. Kind of what we expected to see them from the beginning. And they got it together at halftime, and they're up 20-6. Fourth down and 9, and Holmes will punt it away.
It's just interesting, right? I mean, Holmes played such a fantastic first half. Nice, clean, well-managed football game. They're right there, and all it takes sometimes is you give the other squad one little spark. Sometimes that's the only impetus that team needs to start getting it going.
High snap. Punt is away. He takes a Harlan bounce and is out of bounds right there at the 45 of Holmes. So really good field position again for the Harlan Hawks. They'll have it inside Husky territory.
Well, it's been all Harlan in the second half, and again, playing very good complementary football to start the second half, to punch in that touchdown, get their team a little breathing room. And Cannon Williams, the offers are flying in. It's going to be interesting to see where he decides where to go when it's all said and done.
A lot of the academies all in on him as De La Garza takes the little pass and dodges a few tacklers before being dropped at the 40. He's got UIW if he wants to stay at home. And to your point that we talked about earlier is we've got a Harlan Hawk down. He's either cramping or he's got a left leg injury. So we look at Vinny Chisholm, all-district player from last year, and Eddie Salas is going to come out to take a look at him. But we'll take a timeout as they check on him, and we'll be back right after this. We are back. 11:40 to play here in this ball game. Harlan on top of Holmes, 20-6. It's 2nd and 6. McDade in trouble. Gets away from one tackler, but can't get away from Sergeant Holka. I'm the only one laughing.
No, I got
Even the guys in the truck don't get my reference.
Well, we were excited to see Vinny Chisholm walk off the field. The big left tackle for the Harlan Hawks. You know, Don, this is just such a week-to-week thing, obviously, with the world that we're living in now. But, man, you know, talking to Coach Salas this week, you know, they finally have moved past a lot of these injuries. They finally getting guys back. They've finally gotten some continuity along their offensive line. And, you know, Chisholm is a guy that played tight end last year, and he's been doing such a great job of holding down the left tackle spot for these Harlan Hawks. And, man, the last thing they want to see is somebody up front get dinged up as these guys make their push towards a postseason berth.
Hey, coming up at the end of the ball game, we're going to hand out our Monarch trophies to the winning team and the MVP of the game. If you have any sort of trophy needs for your team or business, give Monarch a call. They've got everything. If you've ever been over their facility over there on 281, it's unbelievable. All kinds of plaques, trophies, crystal, awards, anything you need is there at Monarch. 344-3777. Or you can reach them online there at their website.
They got a nice little Taco Cabana right near there, too, so you can do a double dip.
Yeah, it's real close.
Starting to get a little chilly here at the old ballpark. People starting to suit up.
It is almost Thanksgiving.
Harlan offense, you get the sense of starting to heat up.
You got your turkey already?
I do not.
Come on, man. Williams fires out. It's caught on the near side. Michael Bell, that's the young man you were talking about earlier, the basketball player who's out playing football for the first time, and you can tell he's got a lot of athletic ability. His first catch on the night.
Boy, he's had a heck of a year. What a luxury, right? Got a guy like Michael Bell, it's a standout basketball player, says, hey, coach, my senior year, how about letting me on the football field? Okay. All he does is go out and make plays, and, you know, with as good an athlete as this guy is, he's already getting looks from colleges because of what he's shown so far this year. He's blown up.
Not quite enough for a first down. It's 4th and 5. If you're Harlan, this would be a great place for a fake. You're already on the 38-yard line. And Holmes is going to burn a timeout. They may be looking for just that. We'll take it with them. We'll be back. 20-6, Hawks over the Huskies. Welcome back. It is 4th down and 5 for Harlan at the Holmes 38-yard line. Again, good field position to fake it if you want, or if you kick it, you have a chance to back them up. And there's a high snap over the head of the punter. Does a nice job of getting it off anyway, and makes, talking about your chicken salad you were talking about earlier.
Man, you're not kidding, man.
Only a net of about 10, but after what happened there, that's just a fantastic play by Emmanuel De Los Santos.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Had to first track the ball, and then Holmes realizing that it was an errant snap. Tell you what, that ball got back there in a hurry.
Man, that was a missile.
It sure was.
The deep snapper had some Wheaties.
That's what I'm talking about.
See big Kevin Godinez and that Holmes offensive line go back out for this possession. Medelez, experienced quarterback, will hand it off. Juan Cisneros on the carry. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage, not much more than that. Antonio Torres and that Harlan defensive front has been so solid all game long.
Or they really have. They've kept everything in front of them and made Holmes battle, scratch, and claw for every single yard here tonight.
2nd down and 11. Little handoff inside, and again, going nowhere. David Meyer, the junior linebacker, one of the first ones there, and that's a nice play by him.
That was not a whole lot between him and the football right there. I was standing up and making a play for your side of the ball.
So that'll set up 3rd down and long, 3rd and 12 for Christopher Medeles. He's got Venegas in the backfield with him. He looks to his left, fires. There was contact, and a flag does fly. It'll be pass interference, and it'll go against Stephen Tugman, as that was kind of incidental. I don't think he meant to run him over, but certainly there was enough contact there to warrant the flag. All right, so it's a spot foul, automatic 1st down, and you're taking a look at the air conditioning service company Smile Cam. The Holmes Spirit Groups out here enjoying a beautiful night for football at Gustafson Stadium. Medeles, 1st and 10, going deep over the middle, or towards the sideline rather. Threw a little touch ball, but it was just over the outstretched hands of his receiver Alberto Ruiz, and Tugman makes up for the interference call with good coverage there.
Well, these guys have done a great job. You know, we're told they're all brand new, all new to varsity this year. They just had 2 returners on defense as a whole from last year's team, but these guys are mixing it up very well, doing a good job holding up their end of the bargain.
2nd and 10. And we have flags fly, and we're going to have a false start against the Huskies.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty remains 2nd down.
Chuck Mears and his crew doing a good job here tonight. Set up 2nd and 15 for Holmes, down 20-6 here with 9:19 to go here in the 3rd. Under pressure, Dallas just grounds it. There is nobody there. That's got to be intentional grounding, although I don't see a flag. He threw it at the feet of 3 linemen. He was not outside the tackle box.
I think he had a guy back there, didn't he?
Did you see? Oh, maybe it was Venegas back there. Yeah, okay, right at his feet. My bad.
You know why you didn't see him?
Yeah. Good.
He's standing next to the big boy.
Cardenas swallowed him up. I thought that was one guy.
I'll tell you what, man, you look at 42. Johnson, this guy had a foot fracture last year, missed most of the season. Came back for the final game against Wagner, but weight room guy, man, they're glad to have him back for his senior year. And then, you know, they've just filled in nicely. This linebacking core has played so well, and, you know, quite possibly the strength of their team. David Meyer is one of their leading tacklers. This guy basically subbed in for him last year for Nathan Johnson. Now they're both on the field at the same time, and, man, you can just see how talented.
De La Garza fields a punt for the first time in a while. And
yeah, just to finish the thought, it's how talented this Harlan defense is on all 3 tiers.
Yeah, a lot of athletes. Started as a new program. In their first couple of years, they were very impressive in 5A. Moving up to 6A, but you can still see they've got athletes all over the field. Spriggs at the bottom of your screen is soloed up one-on-one coverage here for a South Texas Votech first down. Cannon Williams instead hands it off to AJ, and McDade's got 5 or 6 more, and he is playing with purpose. This kid's missed so many football games that He's like, hey, you guys may be tired. This might be, you know, old hat to you guys. This is football. I love this game. This is the first time I've gotten to really carry the football multiple times since ankle injury, and he is playing with passion tonight.
Yeah, and they say pound for pound, one of the strongest young men on this football team. He certainly looks the part. And clearly, I mean, there are very few guys in the history of San Antonio high school football that got a resume quite like A.J. McDade does.
Williams, little screen to Spriggs. Spriggs breaks it. Spriggs cuts it inside to the 10. Carrying tacklers down to the 5. Dre Spriggs. And for you UTSA fans, this is a young man who's got an offer from the Roadrunners, so they're hoping he could stay home.
6 catches for 163 a week ago. I mean, you're seeing the talent on display. Again, we talked about the fact that here's another guy that does basketball too and getting some interest there as well, but just a great all-around athlete. Can jump out of the gym, do all kinds of stuff. Super athletic.
15 college offers ranging from Stephen F. and Sam Houston to UIW, Navy, and Texas Southern. I mentioned UTSA. He's also got Fresno State, Hawaii, Coastal Carolina, UConn, Tulane, Lamar, New Mexico. Jeff Traylor like to see that young man stay home. High snap for Williams. He'll keep it. Williams to the 5. Breaks a tackle down to the 3. That'll set up second down and goal.
I really like the story that Coach Salas told us about Spriggs. When he came out, he said he decided he wanted to play some football, and the very first play that he ever played on a football field, he said he ran a 9 route and just flat out laid out for the catch, made it. It was a 45-yard play, and it was like, oh, wow, I think we're going to like this guy.
Yeah, you can play football. Come on, play football.
What a luxury, huh?
Second and goal. It's a direct snap, little wildcat. They hand it off inside, and McDade's got his second touchdown of the game. A.J. McDade.
2 for 2 tonight. Well, making up for lost time is A.J. McDade. Got a hole and then ain't afraid of contact either, sticking that nose where it belongs, which is over the goal line for 6 more points.
Emmanuel De Los Santos on to kick the extra point, and it is through. It is 27-6. Harlan starting to pull away here late in the second half. The second half has belonged to the Hawks. A.J. McDade having himself a ball game. 2 touchdowns on the night. Caps that drive off with a 3-yard touchdown run. And really good to see. Just an electric football player, one of the best in all of San Antonio. Pretty much led San Antonio in everything last year, along with L.J. Butler for running backs. 22 touchdowns, 2,000 yards. He's been back in the 2 games prior to this one. He had 232 yards on 26 carries, and that was just kind of easing him back in. And tonight, he's carried the ball a lot more. After Eddie Salas saw him in practice, he convinced his coach he's 100 on that dislocated ankle, and the rest you've seen here tonight in the second half. De Los Santos kick, a good one all the way down to the 10-yard line. That's where Holmes will have it. And a good return for the Huskies all the way across the 35 down to the 36-yard line. Nice return there by Michael Cortez.
Yeah, Michael Cortez has had a nice ball game tonight.
We're back in 15 seconds.
San Antonio International is the first and only airport to use the Light Strike robot, which is proven to destroy hard-to-kill viruses, to include the virus that causes COVID-19, providing the highest level of cleanliness so you can fly easier, fly safer, and fly confident.
Welcome back. Holmes with the football, Holmes with the rugby scrum, and big 78 Kevin Godinez leading the push again. You just can't stop him, man. That is one big fella.
I just love it. This has been a real treat watching these two teams get after each other tonight.
Physical toughness. Again, Harlan's going to walk out of here with a win, it would appear. And they'll be the first to tell you, man, Holmes brought the fight to us the whole game. Doesn't feel like a 27-6 game. And you know what? To the Holmes Huskies, they don't look at the scoreboard anyway. They've been coached not to. Juan Morales teaches, we're lucky to play football. This thing can be shut down at any moment. Have fun. Play football. Playing football right there is that Hawk defense. Talked about it earlier. David Meyer, the linebackers Meyer and Johnson have been very special tonight.
Coach Sowles calls that linebacking core the strength of this football team, and David Meyer is racking up some kind of season. He's got one more year left of eligibility, so imagine how good he's going to be next year after getting on the field a lot last year as a sophomore.
Clock ticking down towards the 5-minute mark. It's 2nd down and 11. The pass is completed to midfield. That'll set up 3rd down and 5. A nice strike there from Medelis.
Xavier Garcia doing a good job working his way back towards the football. Make it this 3rd and manageable.
Medelis sets, inside handoff. Venegas is buried. Guess who? Nathan Johnson with a hit.
Making up for lost time too, speaking of guys coming back from injury, right?
There's our Orange Theory Fitness band cam. If you look at the Holmes Husky band, ironically, that's the exact suit Chuck wore yesterday.
Although I didn't pull it off quite the same and quite as well.
The Harlan band up 27-6, enjoying things a little more. Both bands fantastic tonight. Really enjoyed them. 4:20 to go, 4th and 3. Connected to the 20. And tackled at the 10-yard line, Xavier Garcia, but what a strike from Christopher Medelis. On 4th down, no less.
That was a, what do we call it, the old thread the needle? Man, over the linebackers and just drops it right into the hands of his wide receiver, Garcia.
You know what?
That was a great play.
That was George Garza who threw that ball.
Oh, was it?
Not Medelis. George Garza's in at quarterback. He's getting some playing time here. And he connected on his first throw. Now he's running. Throws again, and that one's incomplete. Stops the clock with 3:59. Oh, Chuck, guess what time it is? I've been waiting all night for this.
Okay, I'm ready. I am ready.
Gosh. Been waiting all night for this. Okay, first of all, in honor of Chuck's Green Bay Packers, you got to give a shout out to the great color scheme of the Holmes Huskies. It's traditional. It's been around San Antonio for years to come, but it's not from years back. It's not the Packers, though. You know who it is? It's the Edmonton Eskimos.
Nice.
With that little logo on their helmet, the little circle.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Back in, and he scores. They put Medelis back in at quarterback, goes right up the middle for a touchdown.
Put the whole Harlan defense in the blender.
He's done that a couple of times tonight with his feet. Chris Medelis, very talented. Just a junior. We'll see more of him next year, but he's shifty. The spin cycle.
Hit the frappe button on the blender.
That little two-color shoulder stripe, also very nice addition. They have more trouble with the kicking game. The extra point is no good. And it's a Three Stooges movie on that attempt. Play the Benny Hill music. Medelis, though, with a nice play. So I love the pants are Packer pants. The helmet logo reminds me of the Eskimos. All in all, everything's great except for the digital numbers. They're really hard for us broadcasters, right? You can't. Is that a 5? They'll throw the ball and you'll see the kid running down for a touchdown. You're like, I don't know. Especially when it wrinkles up. Is that a 5? Is that a 6? So that's what we care about as broadcasters. But it's a good look. It's a good, clean look for the Holmes Huskies. As for the Harlan Hawks, I was all prepared to say that they've got the best uniforms in all of San Antonio. I still believe that. But when we did the pregame show, you saw their dark blue on dark blue. That's the uniform I love the best. This is still clean. It's a lot of blue there when they do the baby on baby. But it's still good. And the best thing about their uniform, the shadow box numerals. That's the jersey number that we all had when Mom shopped us when we were 5 years old in the 70s and got us a little shirt from Kmart that had a jersey number on it. It had the drop box shadow. And you wore it to school and you felt like you were like a football player because it was just a $10 t-shirt from Kmart. It had the drop box shadow. That's what I love about it. It's a great color scheme. It's Villanova. But tonight they flipped it on us. It's not my favorite when they're all powder blue. I like their whites and I like their dark blues a little bit better. But it's a great, great color scheme. That ball going to go 10 yards. It's caught. Somebody was watching the Cowboys-Falcons game earlier in the year.
Kamali Anderson with a fair catch. Well, I think you nailed it pretty well tonight there, Czar.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get a shot of the coaching staff. They're wearing those darker blue sweats there, and they've got the H for Harris. I could use one of those, fellas. That's a good, clean look. When they wear the dark and the hats, that's what I like better. I like the navy with the baby accent versus the other way around. But I still love the color scheme.
Yeah, I like the understated. It's really good.
Yeah. But these are bright. They pop off the screen on TV, too. Coach Eddie Salas. Squad's going to come out of here with a 27-12 win if they don't add any more points on the board. 3:33 to go here. It's trying to get into the playoffs. You look at that district, and from Stevens and Warren and Harlan and Taft, it's a log jam here with just about 3 weeks to go.
Yeah, and I mean, some of these teams, you just know you're going to get a fight every single week. So, I mean, you can't count on, lining somebody up and, checking off an automatic win. You're going to have to go out and earn it in this league.
De La Garza crashes ahead for about 5 more. Don't forget to vote for the band grant. Boy, did we have some good bands out here tonight. I might text band 21 and 22 to 44332. The Children's Hospital of San Antonio $5,000 band grant. If you want one of these 2 bands to get that grant, or if your team played earlier in the year and just as a reminder to vote again, do that. Text the band number to 44332. Our thanks to the Children's Hospital of San Antonio for supporting local bands. New quarterback in, and the number 2 unit in there for the Harlan offense. Sam Martinez saw some action earlier in the game when Williams was out for a series or 2. I'll tell you who didn't come out as their horse, RJ De La Garza, who's carried a lot of the load tonight.
Well, this is one of those teams, Don, if they ever start to hit their stride and start clicking on all cylinders, they could be a very tough out, even their first year in 6A. They've got as much weaponry as any team that we've seen all year.
Something tells me they'll be in the mix. They didn't execute great here in the first half tonight. We saw some sloppy play, and that's what Salas has been complaining about the last couple of weeks to his ball club. They needed to clean some things up with the penalties. But certainly their talent is there in this district to contend with the Brennans and the O'Connors. And it is time for our JD Collision Express collision of the game. down the sidelines on that kickoff early. Slobber knocker.
Our camera guys all over this tonight. We got from 18 different angles. Nice.
See what I mean? What jersey number was that? Was that a 6? Was that an 8? Was that a 5?
And Ryan Carter on tape, putting a little melt together. Very nice.
It was 6. There you go. The Holmes Huskies bring back memories of Jimmy Hawkins. When we were in high school, man. A couple city championship games between Churchill and Holmes in back-to-back years in the early 80s. Jimmy Hawkins went on to start Texas A&M. Frank Arnold coached there before he went to Judson and won a state championship. Gary Molesky, a legend at Holmes, had the Cash twins. Just a great tradition. Cedric Griffin played there before he went on to win a championship with Vince Young at Texas and then went to the Vikings. Just a great tradition there. And it's time for our Bargain Warehouse outlet play of the night. Chuck, the volleyball tip you called. There you go, set it up, pick it off.
Oh, hats off to this Holmes defense all night, man. This is as tough a team as you're going to see on offense in terms of all of the guys that they have that can make the plays inside and outside. They've just been playing hard, and I mean, 3 turnovers against these guys in the first half. That was pretty spectacular, though. There's no question.
Forgot to mention Johnny Walker, also one of those Holmes Huskies that played back in those days with the Cash twins. Boy, were they good.
Yeah, I think Johnny had a birthday today or yesterday. I can't remember. I saw on Facebook. So happy birthday, Johnny Walker, if you're watching.
Pass out into the flat. It's incomplete. Nice job of pulling up there. 1:14 to go. 3rd down and 10. Both Harlan and Holmes getting some guys, all kinds of guys, different looks tonight, but they're going to run Medellez back in for 3rd and 10. Probably call his number to run this thing. Instead, he's going to drop back to pass, gets out of trouble, shakes off a couple of tacklers. Johnson's in pursuit, pushes him out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 1:05 to go. And it's time to go into the T&L record book tonight. Chris Koffes does such a great job of keeping track of all of our Holmes plays. The longest play on T&L history, or the best game from Holmes, 359 yards passing for Gilbert Garcia back in 2012. Look at Chris Koffes. South Texas Votech first down. Ball's incomplete, hit the ground. It'll take us inside a minute to play. But again, tip of the cap to Juan Morales and Eddie Salas. Juan was telling me is just this year has been such challenges. You know, you're coaching a team that went 0-10 a year ago and 1-5 now, but his kids showed you tonight that they're not afraid to fight. And these are kids for both schools and from all over the area where you never know who your lineup is going to be on Thursday or Friday night, because somebody's been in contact tracing, somebody's in protocol, somebody's mom has to be quarantined. Parents aren't necessarily comfortable sending their kids to school or practice that day. And you show up every day as a coach, and your entire backfield may be different. But then they may be back by Tuesday. And you know, so it's been really tough on the coaches and the kids, and really for everybody in San Antonio, for everybody in the state of Texas playing high school football. Just the fact that we get to see these games every week is a minor miracle.
It is, and I mean, it's just funny what you took for granted, right, before all this started, and what you will not take for granted anytime soon.
We say it all the time about teachers and how teachers are performing in these kind of circumstances, and the same goes for these coaches. Just unbelievable the job they're doing as nurse practitioners first, teachers, mentors, counselors second, and then you get to the X's and O's and you play high school football. But most of it is just making sure everybody at home's okay. Are you getting your schoolwork done virtually or in class? Do you have enough to eat? It's just amazing the job that these guys do. Little quarterback draw from Medelez. He's dropped there, and that'll do it. They'll just stop the clock because of the change of possession, so we'll have to have one more play. But again, a nice showing by the Holmes Huskies tonight here. Fighting to the finish, going up early. And as you take a look at the district schedule the rest of the way, Harlan's got their work cut out for them next week, brother.
You better
Brennan,
believe
as
it.
we saw, is the real deal, and they are young. They're going to be good for years to come. Holmes has O'Connor and Taft, so these Huskies can still play a big role in who makes the third and fourth spot here by playing spoiler. Because I'm telling you, O'Connor and Taft, when they see Holmes on the schedule, they're not planning on an automatic W.
No, I'd agree 100%. And again, I mean, it's been, you know, Taft beat. Did Taft beat Brennan?
Brennan lost to Warren.
No, Taft beat Harlan. So, yeah, ask Harlan about Taft, right? O'Connor's they've been in some street fights too. So, yeah, there's still a long way to go.
Cannon Williams, Eddie Salas, and the Harlan Hawks winners here tonight at Gustafson Stadium, 27-12. When we come back, we'll hand out the hardware, our Monarch trophies to Coach Salas and his team, and to our MVP of the game as the post-game show on Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights rolls on after this.
This is Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights, presented by Thomas J. Henry and sponsored by Vulcan Materials Company, America's Diamond, the Children's Hospital of San Antonio, R&L Certified Auto Group, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning, Affordable Health Insurance Agency, Orange Theory Fitness, Air Today Heating and Air Conditioning, Guild Mortgage, San Antonio Sports, Methodist Healthcare, Plumbing Today, Texas Water Advisor, Beluga Air, Bargain Warehouse Outlet, JD Collision Express, Air Conditioning Service Company, the San Antonio International Airport, Centro Med, Mammoth Contracting, and Monarch Trophies. Welcome to the Taco Cabana Thursday Night Lights postgame show, presented by Thomas J. Henry.
Welcome back to the TNL postgame show. Time to hand out the hardware. Our player of the game, none other than A.J. McDade and Zach Hedrick. Tell A.J. congratulations from us up here, man. That's an awesome comeback.
Yeah, will do, Don. Certainly here with Aubrey, A.J. McDade right now. And A.J., guys up in the booth wanted to say congratulations. I mean,
thank you.
How did it feel getting back into that end zone for the first time?
I mean, I'm more than blessed to be able to even play right now. I didn't really think I was going to come back after my injury, so I'm glad and I'm blessed to be able to play again.
Well, one is good, but twice as nice, right? I mean, you had to get your jersey number tonight. I mean,
Yes,
what was it like getting in there for 2 times?
I mean, I just see the end zone and then I just try to get in there as strong as I can. But yeah, I just try to get in there as strong as I can, so we can put as many points on the board as possible.
Well, AJ, congrats, man, on the first 2 touchdowns tonight. We're going to bring in Coach Salas here and ask him a quick couple questions. Coach, I mean, here at the first half, it was tough going. I mean, it was a good fight, good ball game, and then looks like you found some good stuff in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And we played some great second halves, and our plan was to start fast in the first, and it took us a little while to get there, but I'm proud of our kids. They responded in the second half, came right back and recovered that ball and took it in the end zone, and I'm excited for them. It just, they're great. It's been fun, and it's just been a positive thing playing football with everything going on in this world.
Well, and we talked to AJ. I know it's been a long road to recovery, but what was it like seeing him get in the end zone?
I love AJ. I tell you, I've known him since he was an 8th grader. He's like my son, and I treat him that way. And it's great to see him from the first scrimmage where he had a dislocated ankle to right now, this moment, starting and getting just about every snap, and just watching him out there just run. It's just exciting for me to see him. I'm very proud of him. I love him, and I can't wait to see his future, what he does.
Well, Coach, congrats. We didn't forget you as well. You got that for you and the rest of your team. We'll let you guys go back and celebrate with the rest of your crew. Thanks so much,
guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Right. Don, Chuck, back up to you guys.
All right, Eddie Salas, one of the good guys, and AJ McDade, congratulations on your perseverance, young man. We're coming back to wrap it up here from Gustafson Stadium when we come back. Welcome back, 27-12, our final score here at Gustafson Stadium. The Harlan Hawks beating the Holmes Huskies to improve their playoff chances in 29-6A. It's time for our AHIA highlights. What a game it was. The Holmes Huskies came out fighting as you would expect them to do. Christian Medelas gave them a 6-0 lead. Cannon Williams went to Dre Spriggs to give them the lead, 7-6 after the extra point on that 37-yard touchdown. But in the second half, it was all Harlan Williams with a nice touchdown run. And then A.J. McDade, our player of the game, with 2 touchdowns in the second half, as Harlan pulled away in the third and fourth quarter. But the Holmes Huskies gave them all they could handle, scoring last to make it 27-12. Medelas and company represent themselves very proudly. We are going to take next Thursday off for the holiday, let you enjoy some Cowboys football and your regular traditions, but we're coming back for a Northeast battle, Mac and Madison, on Thursday, December the 3rd. For our executive producer, Dean Radla, our producer, Chris Kotfus, and the guys in the truck led by Brian Watts, the camera guys who do such a great job. For Chuck McIntyre here in the booth, our statistician extraordinaire, Mark Kusenberger, Zach Hedrick down on the sidelines, and the entire crew that does such a great job of bringing you high school football. We will see you in 2 weeks on December 3rd for Mac and Madison. Till then, so long, everybody.